Welcome to Stoic Reflections, where timeless wisdom meets the raw, unfiltered truths of the modern world. This is not just another channel about relationships, self-improvement, or philosophy. Here we strip away the noise, the sugarcoating, and the easy answers. We go straight to the core, the truths that are hard to face but impossible to ignore. The Stoics of old taught us that life will test us with challenges, some obvious, others hidden beneath the surface. People will come into our lives who appear perfect, charming, magnetic, full of confidence, but the Stoic path reminds us, appearances are only the first layer. Beneath them lie patterns, choices, and values that shape a person's true nature. If we ignore the signs, we hand over our time, our energy, and our peace to situations that will eventually drain us. Here, we don't teach paranoia, we teach perception. We don't judge blindly, we observe wisely. Because wisdom is not about avoiding every risk, it's about seeing clearly before you step forward. Every video here is designed to give you not just information, but clarity. The kind of clarity that allows you to navigate life with calm strength, to recognize the difference between what looks good and what is good, and to protect your standards like a fortress. Because in the end, your time is your life, and the Stoic man guards it as fiercely as he guards his values. So if you're ready to sharpen your instincts, to understand human behavior with the precision of a philosopher and the decisiveness of a warrior, you're in the right place. This is Stoic Reflections, and today we're going to uncover 7 signs that reveal far more about a woman's past than she might ever say out loud. Signs that, if ignored, can cost you years of your life. Let's begin. Sign 1. She's too comfortable with intimacy too soon. A Stoic man learns to recognize the difference between genuine connection and the illusion of closeness. When you meet a woman and within days, sometimes even hours, she's speaking about physical intimacy as casually as ordering coffee, it's tempting to see it as confidence, liberation, or undeniable chemistry. But here's the truth. What looks like confidence can be something far less noble: emotional erosion. A woman who values true connection understands that intimacy carries weight. She guards it, not because she is repressed or shy, but because she knows it is meant to grow over time, layered with trust, shared experiences, and vulnerability. When that natural barrier is gone, it's not a sign of freedom, it's a sign that those boundaries have been crossed so many times, they no longer hold meaning. Like a lock forced open too many times, it no longer protects anything. It simply hangs there, useless. This kind of woman has experienced repeated high-intensity encounters without the emotional foundation beneath them. And so, the meaning is stripped away. Intimacy becomes mechanical, something to do, not something to feel. Pay attention to the subtleties. Does she blush or hesitate when intimacy is discussed? Does she pause to process the weight of the moment? Or does she glide through it effortlessly, like she's walked this road 1,000 times before? If her touch, her words, and her timing feel practiced rather than personal, you may not be experiencing unique chemistry, you may be watching muscle memory. The danger is that you'll mistake her lack of modesty for deep connection. You'll think, this spark is rare, it's fate. But in reality, she is reenacting a script she's played before, and you are simply the latest co-star. When intimacy loses its emotional exclusivity, it is nearly impossible to restore. Without build-up, without emotional tension, without rarity, the bond you think you are forming is weaker than you believe. A Stoic man remembers, just because a line is easy to cross doesn't mean you're the chosen one. Sometimes it means the line no longer exists at all. Sign 2. She carries a permanent emotional wall. Some barriers protect connection, others prevent it entirely. A Stoic man learns to see the difference. You might sit across from her. She's smiling, laughing, engaging in playful banter. She might even share personal stories that seem vulnerable at first glance. But if you listen closely, you'll realize you are not meeting the real her, you are meeting the performance. A woman with a permanent emotional wall has mastered the art of letting you feel close without ever allowing you to be close. It's like she's giving you a guided tour of her house, showing you the hallway, the living room, the art on the walls, but keeping every important door locked. This is not healthy boundary setting. Healthy boundaries protect both people while they gradually build trust. This is something else entirely, a defense mechanism forged through loss, betrayal, and heartbreak, brick by brick over years. The signs are subtle. Ask her about her fears, her childhood, or the moments that shaped her, and she'll pivot. She might tell a joke. She might offer vague cliches. She might change the subject so smoothly you barely notice. But deep down, you'll feel it, a quiet distance that no amount of time together seems to close. Here's the danger. A man seeking genuine connection will often lead by example. He'll open up first, hoping she'll respond in kind. He'll share his struggles, ambitions, and heartbreaks. She will respond warmly, but without matching depth. She reacts, but she does not reciprocate. Over time, this creates an emotional imbalance. You give more than you receive. You invest into a relationship that has a ceiling you can't break through. And when conflict inevitably comes, the wall becomes a fortress. She will shut down, disappear for days, or decide it's not working, not because she's confused, but because safety matters more to her than intimacy. A Stoic man understands this truth. If months pass and the connection never moves beyond the surface, no matter how close you seem physically, you are not imagining the distance. You are standing outside the wall, and loving someone who refuses to step beyond it will drain you quietly, until the day you wake up and realize you've been alone the entire time. Sign 3. She has an overcrowded male network. The Stoics remind us, where a person invests their attention, they invest their life. If her attention is scattered across countless men, your connection will never be her focus. You've likely heard it before. They're just friends. And sometimes that's true. But when her social circle is overwhelmingly male, when her phone lights up with messages from men you've never met, when she has a story about a male friend for every topic that comes up, you're looking at a pattern, not a coincidence. This is more than casual friendliness. In many cases, it's a validation loop, a constant stream of male attention that assures her she's wanted, attractive, and relevant. It's not love she's chasing, it's the hit of being desired, and that is addictive. Watch for the signs. She stays in contact with multiple ex-boyfriends. She has best guy friends who have openly hinted at wanting more. She dismisses your concerns with, "Oh, he's harmless," or "We've known each other forever." But harmless men don't send midnight texts. Harmless men don't call when you're out of town. Another telling sign. Her relationships with other women are minimal, strained, or non-existent. Why? Because female friendships demand emotional reciprocity, something that's harder to maintain when validation comes easily from quick, surface-level attention from men. Male friendships often require little emotional investment. They offer attention, occasional flirtation, and, most dangerously, they keep doors open. Whether she admits it or not, these men often serve as backup options. If your relationship falters, she doesn't have to face solitude. She simply promotes someone from the roster. Here's the hard truth. A woman who constantly keeps herself plugged into an orbit of male attention is never fully available to you. Not emotionally, not mentally, and no matter how much she insists, they're just friends. You'll always feel the quiet weight of competition. A Stoic man understands. Trust cannot grow in a garden where you're always competing for sunlight. Sign 4. She uses intimacy as currency, the most dangerous sign. In the Stoic view, love is meant to be given freely, without calculation, without hidden terms. But some women do not give love, they trade it. This is not affection, this is negotiation disguised as passion. Here's how it plays out. Tension rises between you. Maybe you've disagreed on something. Maybe you refused a request. Maybe she's been caught in a lie. Suddenly, her tone softens, her eyes linger longer, her touch becomes more inviting. In moments, the conflict feels like it's fading. You think you've resolved the issue, but nothing has been resolved. You've simply paid for peace. On the other side, when she's upset or wants to make a point, intimacy disappears. Not because she's truly not in the mood, but because she knows withholding it gets a reaction. It's punishment dressed up as boundaries. This is not natural feminine intuition. This is a learned strategy. Women who have cycled through short, high-turnover relationships often discover what works fastest to regain control. Weaponized intimacy is one of the most powerful tools because it strikes in three places at once: your biology, your emotions, and your pride. The key is in the timing. Does her affection arrive only after you've given in to what she wanted? Does it vanish exactly when you've stood your ground? Does it appear like clockwork when she needs something and vanish when she doesn't get it? If it feels too precise to be coincidence, it isn't. A Stoic man understands, when intimacy becomes currency, love becomes business. And in that kind of business, you are not an equal partner. You are a customer. And the tragedy? Most men never realize they've been paying until the cost is far higher than they can afford. Sign 5. She has mastered the art of reading and controlling men. There's a difference between a woman who understands men and a woman who studies them. The first is a gift: empathy, observation, intuition. The second is a skill, learned through years of trial, error, and repetition. A woman who has been with enough different types of men has essentially run her own private laboratory on male behavior. She has learned which words open your guard, which compliments hit the deepest, and which silences make you chase her harder. At first, it feels incredible. She sees you. She notices details no one else does: the way you stand, the way you lead, your ambition. You feel understood in a way you didn't think possible. But here's the truth. Genuine understanding takes time. Instant perfect compatibility is often nothing more than rapid assessment. She has read you faster than you realize. And once she has that map, she knows exactly how to play the game. Feed your pride when she wants you close. Press on your insecurities when she wants you off balance. One moment you feel like her hero. The next, you're questioning yourself and craving her reassurance. This is control disguised as connection. The manipulation is subtle. She's not demanding, she's designing. She shapes the emotional climate so you remain invested and uncertain. The danger is that most men mistake this for passion. They confuse emotional highs and lows with depth and intensity. The rush feels addictive. The lows make you chase harder. Before long, you're not loving freely. You're responding to conditioning. A Stoic man understands, true love is steady. It builds. It does not keep you walking on a tightrope, desperate for the next high. When you see the strings being pulled, you have two choices: keep dancing or cut yourself free. Sign 6. She has no shame or discretion about her past. A Stoic man does not demand perfection, but he does value privacy, respect, and the sacred nature of intimacy. This isn't about judging someone's history. It's about recognizing that when a person treats their past as cheap, they often treat the present the same way. A woman with no shame or discretion about her past will speak of her former partners casually, almost as if she's discussing a holiday or a weekend getaway. She might share the number of people she's been with or recount intimate details, not with caution, but with a strange pride, as if it's proof of experience. Here's the problem. When something intimate happens often enough, it stops feeling rare. And when it's no longer rare, it's no longer sacred. Pay close attention when you ask about her past. Does she become defensive? Does she flip the question back on you? Does she accuse you of being insecure or old-fashioned? These are not just diversions. They're signs that she refuses to consider how her history shapes her present. This lack of discretion often bleeds into the relationship itself. The same way she casually shares her past, she might casually share details about you. With friends, with acquaintances, even with strangers. The line between private and public is thin, and once it's crossed, trust becomes fragile. A Stoic man asks himself, does she treat intimacy as something meaningful or just another story? Does she protect what is shared between us, or is it open for public consumption? Because if she doesn't see why discretion matters, she will never see why you matter, not in the way you deserve. Sign 7. She has a history of short-term relationships. At first glance, this may seem harmless. People date. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's life. But patterns tell the truth that words often hide. When a woman's history shows a consistent trail of short-lived relationships, never lasting more than a few months, always starting with a rush and ending just as quickly, that's not coincidence. That's a blueprint. The story is almost always the same. An intense beginning, rapid escalation, an equally rapid collapse. When she explains the breakups, the reasons rarely point inward. It's always timing, circumstances, the other person's flaws. Rarely does she admit an inability or unwillingness to build something lasting. Here's why this matters. The foundation of a long-term relationship is not built in the honeymoon phase. It's built in the work that comes after, the conflicts, the compromises, the adjustments when novelty fades. If she's never stayed long enough to reach that stage, she's never developed the resilience or patience required to sustain it. Often it's because she's addicted to the high, the butterflies, the constant attention, the thrill of being wanted. And like any addiction, once the buzz fades, she starts searching for her next fix. A Stoic man knows. Stability may not give the same rush as novelty, but it is the only soil where trust and love can grow. So listen to her history. Ask the right questions. Patterns will tell you if she's prepared for real commitment, or if she's only prepared for the next adventure. When you step back and see these 7 signs together, a picture forms. This isn't about shaming a past or condemning a person, it's about clarity. The Stoics taught that a wise man does not ignore reality simply because it is uncomfortable. He observes, he understands, and he acts accordingly. These traits, the absence of emotional barriers, the permanent wall, the crowded orbit of male attention, intimacy used as currency, calculated emotional control, a disregard for discretion, and a string of short-lived relationships, are not random quirks. They are the footprints of experience, and they point toward a destination. Too many men ignore these footprints, hoping they'll be the exception, believing their love will change the path. But patterns do not change for love alone. They change only when the person chooses to confront them. And that, my friend, is rare. A Stoic man does not gamble his peace on someone else's willingness to change. He protects his standards like he protects his future, because they are the same thing. So look closely, listen deeply, decide wisely, and remember, the most valuable thing you can give to the wrong person is the very thing you will wish you'd kept for yourself: your time.